Good morning, you beautiful souls. Hope you're doing well. It's been like just about 2 months since my last post. Once again, I just post when I feel like it, when I feel called to. Should maybe post a little more. Right now, we're just working, and that's about it. Working. All sorts of stuff. So, I got all sorts of welding footage. Just gotta edit it, and maybe I'm being a little lazy on the editing. Whoops. So we got 3 tunes. We got All She Wrote by Firehouse, Sea of Sorrow by Alice in Chains, and Who's Crying Now by Journey. So, as you can see, we got a pump jack. The sun's coming up. Well, it's up, but it's still rising. So yeah, I mean, we're just sitting out here, having a good time, sit in nature. Haven't been doing that as much as I should too. So there's a couple things I've been wanting to talk about, I guess. One of them is, in my last video, I talked about stopping smoking. And I fell back into it. And I feel like this is a perfect thing to talk about in this video. Just because we're all guilty for it. We all fall back into things like that. And it's funny, like I've been observing it, seeing it from a different perspective. Because, well, on November 1st, marked 3 years sober from alcohol and cocaine. And I don't give myself much credit for it. But that's something I should be really proud of. And I am. I don't know, now it's just a second nature not to pick up a drink or do that. So I can stop that, right? Done it for 3 years. So it's funny how something as small as a cigarette I continue to fall into, and I started to observe that it soothes something on the inside, is what it does. I use it as a way of comforting myself, I guess you could say. And that's not right. I know it's not. And I feel like acknowledging that it's a dirty, stinky, nasty habit, if you acknowledge that, that's the number one step to stop it, right? And I wouldn't say I smoke a crazy amount by any means, but it's more than a guy should. So here I'm talking about it. And I also had the thought too, when a guy says, I won't do that, the devil, he'll challenge you. And he presents challenges for you to fall back into that, because when I can look back at the first 6 months of being sober, it was insane, man. It took everything in me not to just give up and get back on the piss, you know what I mean? Like, I was 3-4 months sober when I went for my 3rd year welding school, and that was a really difficult time. There was days where I was just like, I'm just gonna go and pick up a 40 and just give up, you know what I mean? And I didn't. And I'm grateful. I had lots of people tell me, like, Lane, if you ever go back to it, beat you up almost, punch you in the head for drinking. And I use that as fuel. I use that as a way of, okay, there are people who support this decision. There are people who would be extremely upset if I fell back into it. And I'm grateful for that. Man, I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for those people. Especially going to college. That's where you go and get right into one. And everybody was so good about it. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for those people that made sure I didn't, And here we are, 3 years later. I feel great. Like, there's still times, don't get me wrong, where I'm like, hey, I wonder what it'd be like to, go out and get on a tear, see what happens. And then I'm like, no, you don't want to see what would happen. Because it would be a wreck. Because I know I'd pick up right where I left off. And it'd be excessive. Oh, it'd be excessive. So yeah, we're talking about that little observation on how the cigarettes soothe and help me cope, I guess you could say. I know it's not right. No, it's not right. So I'm here talking about it in hopes that it might help someone else see too, you know what I mean? And I mean, while we're out here, like, it's been great. I'm extremely grateful for where I've been working. They've been keeping me busy. I'm doing some welding, doing some field work, doing some fixing. It's fabulous. It's awesome. I'm not making rig rate welding money by any means, but I'm comfortable. I'm here. I'm getting hours. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of guys that are sitting too, So guys gotta take it when it's there, you know what I mean? And it's been great. I mean, other than that, like, life is simple. It's been so simple, I've given myself a routine, and once you start following that routine, it's a little extra pressure off of you, you know what I mean? And when you're working with a great group of people and there's never any temper or any making you feel like you're worthless or anything like that, that's huge. That helps substantially. I would much rather take that every day of the week than some high-paying job and you're getting reamed out by your boss and just feel like you're not doing enough, you know what I mean? Like, I should say I still feel that way. That's just, I guess, how my brain has developed, that I don't feel like I'm doing enough, or I'm always behind, but I'm working on that. It doesn't happen overnight, changing that mindset, but I'll tell you right now, from even a year ago, I've learned to just slow down, let things flow, take your time, enjoy it while you're here, because before you know it, it can all change so fast, something completely different happening, you know what I mean? And a guy's got to learn to be present in the moment, and especially at the age of 24, something I've been acknowledging too is, like, these are the prime years. These are the years when a guy's gonna look back and be like, hey, this is what I was doing. This was life. This was, and they say this is the good part. And even when there's a bunch of negative things, or it just feels like the world's trying to get you, or lots of negativity tries to present itself in your life. And I feel like being a high vibrational empath, negative energy, you attract it, because there's the positivity there, and for myself, I see the good in everything and everyone, and sometimes there's no good there, but you still always see the best version of something, just how I am, who I am, and it's crazy when you look at it from a deeper perspective, that there's forces that try to work against you, unseen forces, you know what I mean? And it's the matter of just picking yourself up, keep chugging along, making her work, make do with what you got, and just keep rolling, man. Fred Durst says it best. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What? Rolling, 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 rolling. Come on. So yeah, we're sitting here. Who doesn't like to just sit and watch Pontiac, the sunrise? Good, man. I might just go for a little ride up on that thing. Thinking about it. So yeah, other than that, it's the same old, man. I'm in no rush. Enjoying it. Taking the good with the bad, and that's all you can do, you know what I mean? So, I don't really know what else to talk about. Another thing, I guess, is, so I'm sure there's some people, possibly people that end up watching this, that are, I don't know what I did to Lane, or you're not sure that, or if you think that I may be upset with you, or I'm not upset with anybody. I'm not, you know me. For anybody who does know me, it's who I am. It's in my nature not to. Yeah, there's times where I might be a little disappointed in some actions and stuff like that, but I'm not angry. I'm not upset with anybody. I always hope for the best for everybody. Doesn't matter what you've done or who you are. I always hope, the best outcome happens, Understanding circumstances, understanding your choices, because if you've allowed certain things to happen and certain situations play out, there is positive and negative consequences for every action. You know what I mean? And I just blew a button on my shirt. Packing on that winter weight. So yeah, for anybody who's feels that way or thinks that way, I just want you to know this is a little reassurance too, that I'm not upset with you. And I went into this hermit mode, disappeared, stopped talking, more or less to heal. Wasn't because I didn't want to talk to you. It's because I feel energies so heavily that in order to feel my own, I had to distance myself from others. Because when you're an empath, when you don't get to choose the energies that you feel, you get them, and you have to feel them. And there's a good percentage of the time that it isn't even your own that you're feeling. So, in order to feel those and feel them properly and decipher whose is whose and what is what, for me, I've learned that I had to go ghost, basically, go in my own little world, go into hermit mode, in order to heal things for myself and allow others that felt the need to use my energy for themselves to heal or to avoid the healing process for themselves. Because for me, I always try to see it the best I can. And lots of times I take on others' energy to help them. And it's just who I am. It's just how I've developed. And sometimes you can't do that. Because sometimes whoever you're doing that for might not know how to do it for themselves. So if you're always there to help them and take on that extra energy, they're never going to learn. They're never going to try and see things from new perspectives, try and understand how to heal certain things that have happened with them. You know what I mean? And that's just for me too. So I've been doing lots of internal work, and probably lots of internal battles too, and lots of things that I guess I may have created for myself that I didn't need to. And we're all guilty for that. We are. Lots of times we let our mind get the best of us, and it's a matter of how we come out on top and how we choose to see it, you know. And there are certain things that it's taken a lot out of me, but it's taught me a lot of valuable lessons. It's taught me different aspects of myself, how to not be so reactive, and a big thing for me is I've been forgiving a lot, you know, because there is things that I have hung on to, things that have bothered me for ever, you know what I mean, for as long as I can remember, and choosing to forgive and let go. You don't forget. You won't forget. That's not how it works. I know they say forgive and forget. You forgive. You don't forget. And if there are certain things that have been done by certain individuals, you can forgive, but you don't have to let them back into your energy. You don't, especially if they're going to keep doing the same thing, if they haven't learned when you've pulled yourself back from it. Don't keep giving them the time of day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not healthy for you and it's not healthy for them. Because if they haven't learned and they keep doing the same thing, I mean, nobody's winning. It's just the same cycle repeating itself, right? So yeah, I mean, I've been doing lots of forgiving and understanding that certain things have happened because certain individuals, maybe they didn't know what they were doing. Maybe they didn't know how they were making you feel, and maybe they did. And at the same time, it doesn't matter if they did or they didn't. If you feel that way, and you feel like they let you down or they hurt you, you have to heal that. You have to forgive them, because hanging on to it, all that does is hurt you. It doesn't hurt them. It doesn't bother them. They don't care. You know what I mean? So, you have to let that go in order to move on for yourself. And there's one thing, you know, it's really taken a toll on me, you know, the matter of my 2008 Ford, my one-ton, my welding truck, was given to me under circumstances that it was for a bonus for work. And the individual who gave that to me has taught me a lot about who I am, how I show up in the world. And they've also taught me a lot of ways of how to not be, you know what I mean? And my mind picked up on. They had said keep it insured and registered in their name. And how this person has done things before, I saw it as a tactic of leverage, of finding some loophole to make sure that truck ends up back to them, because they like to win. And I insured and registered it, had it all done, and you could see the shift. You could see the shift in how they, once they realized that I had done that. And I mean, I've spent my whole life around this person, and you start to learn patterns and recognize things that just don't seem right. And when that was said about the insurance and the registration, I knew there was something. I knew there was something deeper. Some sort of tactic, right? So, wasn't much longer after, and they were just pushing boundaries and treating myself and my younger brother in ways that I didn't like. I didn't like how that was happening. So I stood up to them, told them where to go and how to get there, really. And they squared up, wanting to fight me. And right after, we were in the shop, I was wrapping up the air compressor hose and said, if you ever want to try me, make sure you hit hard, because I'll kill you. Phoned me a couple days later and said they were going to kill me again because I wouldn't go over and help plant trees. You know what I mean? And this is the truth. I'm not making up stories. I'm not going to post this on here and say this person said this. And really, at the end of the day, it was all over a truck that they had chose to gift me for the work that I had done. And then got upset that I stood up to them, that I insured and registered it. Figured out the game before the game had really even started. You know what I mean? And yeah, sweet. So, it's a nice truck. It's got low miles. Every time I get in the thing, every time I get in it and start it to go do something, I think about that. I literally play that day in my mind of them trying to fight me and telling me they're going to kill me. And I'll tell you right now, if I would have known that's what was going to come of it, I would much rather a healthy relationship. But it was also my choice to stick up. It was also my choice to react. And it was also their choice to do that. You know what I mean? And it's also my choice to distance myself. Because that hurt. It hurt a lot. But I forgive. I'm not going to hang on to it. Yeah, it was did a lot to my head. You know what I mean? And what do? You can't change it. It's been done. It's happened. Yeah, I guess the guy's got a pretty sweet welding truck out of it. But like I said, who I am, how I am as a person. I get in that thing and I think of that scenario. I play it over in my head. Is it really worth it then? Is it really worth it? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's been something that has been just trying to see it. I've been trying to see it from a forgiving, from a positive attitude. Sometimes it consumes me. And there's been times where it makes me very angry, very upset. But that's not how I am. That right there, I think, is a situation that I could have chose to stay in the negative. I could have chose to fight them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's not worth my time or my energy. I don't roll that way. I'm out here spreading peace, love, and rock and roll, man. Positivity. That's my goal. Because the world does need more love. Less fighting. Less shit like that, man. You know? So yeah, I've distanced myself from that individual. Distanced myself from people involved with that individual. Because it's the same repetitive cycle. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So I made the changes for myself, whether they're choosing to stay where they are or, you know, like I'm quite content where I'm at with it, you know. And the same thing, the healing of that doesn't happen overnight. You know, that happened in end of May, and it still affects me. You know what I mean? But from that time to now, I made a drastic change of accepting it how it is. You can't change it. You can't fix what was said or done. But you keep rolling with it. You learn from it. I learned a lot from it. You know that sometimes the ones closest to you are going to hurt you in ways like that. And I also understand that the universe creates those scenarios and those situations to develop us, to make us a better version of ourselves, if we choose to, because we can choose to be sour, be cold, or we can choose to learn something from it, to heal from it, to understand that, okay, maybe they didn't know what they were doing or what they were saying or how they were acting. Maybe they've done it before with others and they got the results that they wanted. But I wasn't standing for it. I wasn't. It's not who I am. That crossed the line. That crossed the line, right? And when I went to the hospital in July, I wasn't even out for 5 hours, and I got a phone call. And they'd said, hey, you should go see them. And I felt like that was to trigger some PTSD almost, to trigger it again. You know, I wasn't even out for a day. I wasn't even out for half a day yet. And that was said. And that turned me sour, you know. I got a little sour with that comment, with that phone call, I wasn't even out of the hospital, you know, very long. And to do that, but at the same time, maybe they didn't know what they were saying. Maybe they were just trying to see it from the aspect of, you need to see your family. I mean, yes, he is getting old. Yes, he probably doesn't have a whole bunch of time left. But when you disrespect me like that and do that kind of voids the whole point of keeping a relationship. You know what I mean? Especially when it causes so much chaos for my well-being, you know. And that's where I just had to really step back, sit with it, understand it from the aspect of, okay, I mean, I can see it from the aspect that they are wounded. They have wounds that they haven't healed. And sometimes, usually when your wounds aren't healed and you react from your wounds and you project your wounds in a way, it is your child, your inner child, trying to speak, trying to communicate that you're hurt. And sometimes your inner child has been hurt for so long that you don't know peace, love, and positivity. You don't. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand that. And everybody's journey is at a different stage. And that's okay. We're all here to learn something. We're all here to experience things differently. And it's our choice to stay stuck in negative cycles or patterns. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, this video kind of went, I guess, exactly where it was supposed to go. You know what I mean? And I'm not upset. I forgive. I'm not upset. Like I said, there's times where I'm disappointed, but I also have to understand that everybody has a light side and a dark side of their soul. Sometimes they're stuck in the dark side. It's very rare are you stuck in the light side, because everybody has things, darkness, the dark side of us. I'm just as guilty for it too. I try to spread a lot of love and positivity, but there's still dark sides, there's still wounds, there's still things that aren't healed. There's a good portion of the time that I am in the dark side more. But while I'm doing that, I'm seeing it from a light side perspective to heal it. And it's pretty friggin' neat, man. Pretty neat. So, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great November. I don't know when I'm posting next, but we'll see where it goes. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. You take care. Keep your head high. That wealth between the bevels. Keep on keeping on. Come on.